Hey guys, this is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and in today's movie review, I'm going to be doing a movie review on the 2020 Amazon Prime Video movie from 2020, 2 years ago, and that's going to be on My Spy. My Spy is directed by Peter Siegel and stars Dave Bautista, Chloe Coleman, Christian Skall, and Ken Jeong. And so the story of My Spy is actually made by STX Films and was released on Amazon Prime Video in 2020. And so, anyway, the story of My Spy is about a nine-year-old Sophie catches JJ, a hardened CIA operative, spying on her family during a routine surveillance operation. In exchange for not blowing his cover, JJ agrees to show the girl how to become a spy. What at first seems like an easy task soon turns into a battle of wits, as Sophie proves you don't need much experience to outsmart a seasoned agent. And that's the story of My Spy. So I remember seeing a preview for My Spy back in 2019, because I remember seeing a trailer for My Spy. I remember seeing a trailer for this film way back in 2019. When I went and saw newer films at the time back in 2019, I remember seeing previews for this movie, and it did look pretty funny to me. So, but then, especially that My Spy was also supposed to be released in theaters during 2020, during the early months of 2020 prior to COVID. But then, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic forced movie theaters to close down temporarily. So, I mean, I think from what I heard, I think a little bit of movie theaters still showed My Spy, but but here in the United States, My Spy was actually released on Amazon Prime Video. So all the way up until now, I watched the whole movie of My Spy, and honestly, I actually thought it was a pretty good movie from 2020. I thought it was also pretty funny too. Yeah, and I thought the humor itself, was pretty funny. Of course, it's got funny humor, and there are some times where this movie does feel like an action film. There are some times where this movie feels like an action film, but it's also a comedy too. And I thought it had good acting performances, pretty fun acting performances. The actors in this film looked like they were having a lot of fun making this film. Dave Bautista from the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought he did great, and Christian Skall. I thought Christian Skall was very funny in this film too, and Ken Jeong, he was good, and Chloe Coleman, she was good as well, and Peter Siegel I thought did a pretty decent job directing this film, and of course one funny part that I definitely laughed at, because this was actually in the trailers from when I remember seeing this movie, when I remember the trailers for this film. There was this one part that made me laugh, just in the trailers, Christian Skall's character as Bobby, that's actually the character's name that Christian Skall plays. She actually makes a Shrek reference, I think during the 1 hour, as we reach the 1 hour mark. She actually makes a Shrek reference, just like in the trailer. This feels like the wedding scene at the end of Shrek. Yeah, because I just love Shrek, and that was a pretty funny Shrek reference, and and yeah, and of course, excuse me, pardon me, and especially that the last act of the film, as we get into the final battle, the last act, it kind of does feel like the way they shot this film, the way they shot the final battle in the last act, it kind of does feel like Solstice. It feels like it would have been made by Solstice Studios. Yeah, because it does look a little bit like a Solstice Studios film. But I mean, even though their first movie Unhinged was actually released later in 2020 in August, and My Spy first came out before Unhinged, but the way they shot this film, I think STX Films, I bet, was Solstice Studios before Solstice Studios. As I would have imagined that both STX Films and Solstice Studios were both headquartered in the mall in Columbia, in Columbia, Maryland, but that's not true. I made that up. Because Solstice Studios headquarters is actually in Los Angeles, California, and And I'm sure STX Films, I'm pretty sure it was headquartered in California as well. I think I got that right, yeah. And Dominic Lewis's music score, I thought was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty cool too. So overall, My Spy was a good and funny movie from 2020, and I'm gonna give My Spy 4 out of 5 stars. So if you haven't watched My Spy yet, and if you have Amazon Prime Video, and if you haven't watched My Spy yet, then I say give this movie a watch. I recommend it. So there you have it, guys. That's going to be it for my movie review on My Spy, and that's going to be it for this video. So make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying goodbye, everybody, and that's about it.